Hello and welcome back everyone. I am Shivani Garg, Assistant Professor from IMT University. In previous lecture we have studied about the time response analysis for second order system. In this particular lecture we will be studying about the time response analysis, time response design specifications for second order system and steady state error analysis. So let's start today's lecture. Why do we need the time response design specifications? So for these specifications refers to the performance. So these specifications refer to the performance indices of the step response of a system. So we will be calculating these specification for unit step response only. In general, these indices are specified as a part of the design requirements of control systems. These indices answer the following questions pertaining to step response of a system: how fast the system follow the input, and how oscillatory is the response, which is indicative of damping, how long does it take to particularly reach the final value. So these questions will be answered by the design specifications of the second order system with the step input. The same method we will be studying about the step input only, but this same procedure can be used for calculating the design specification for any kind of input. So time response specifications, we have a delay time which is equal to the time required for the response to reach its 50% value, 50% of the final value at the first instant, and it is defined by Td is equal to 1 plus 0.7 zeta upon omega n, where again omega n is the natural frequency of oscillation and zeta is damping ratio. The another specification is rise time. It is the time required for the response to rise from 10 to 90% of its final value or 0 to 100% of its final value for overdamped and underdamped systems. The another one is peak value, peak time. Time required for the response to reach the peak value of time response, it is called the peak time. Another one is peak overshoot. It is the normalized difference between the peak value of the time response and steady state response value. So MP would be equal to YTP at peak value, the value of y, and minus y infinity at t is equal to infinity divided by the value of y at t is equal to infinity into 100. So it is always calculated in the percentage. Settling time, it is the time required for the response to reach and stay within a specified tolerance band of its final value. There are two types of specific tolerance band, one is 2% and another is 5%. We have two different values, two different formulas for these two values. Here it can be noted that TP and MP are only calculated for underdamped system and not for critically damped or overdamped system, and there is no peak in those systems. So these two terms are only calculated for underdamped system. So this is the diagram for underdamped system and these are the values. So for here as we have seen the delay time Td is equal to the value of the time taken from this initially to reach the 50% value. So this is your delay time. Rise time is to for underdamped system is to reach time required to reach from 0 to 100% value. So this is your rise time. Peak time is to reach the peak time is the time required to reach the first peak of the system. So this is, and this first peak is called the MP, maximum peak overshoot. This term is MP. So this is the peak time and the time taken to reach this particular peak, and this for this particular peak, first peak, this is called the MP. This is the peak overshoot and this is called the peak undershoot. So this is over the value of 1 and this is below the value of 1. So this is called undershoot. And this is the settling time, and this is the tolerance band. It can be 2% or 5%, as this is the step input. So 2% would be 0.98 and 5% would be 0.95. So when this value is in between, it will not go beyond this tolerance band, then it is called the time taken to this to reach this particular point is called the settling time. Expressions for these different specifications. So first one is for second order underdamped system. We have considered the second order underdamped system. Same procedure can be used for other systems also. So here the rise time, as we by the definition, is the time taken to the response to go from 0 to 100% of its final value. So yt would be equal to 1 at rise time. So where we already know yt is 1 minus e to the power minus zeta omega n t by under root 1 minus zeta square sin omega dt plus theta, where theta is cos inverse zeta, and here we are calculating the rise time. So this it would be equal to 1 at tr rise time. So if we solve this, one would get cancelled out and this term would become 0. So this would be equal to 0. As we know, this is not 0 and this is also not 0. So what is this term is 0. So for this whole term to be 0, this should be 0. So we can write sin omega t tr plus theta is equal to 0, and from this we can simply write omega dtr plus theta is equal to pi, as sin pi is 0. So from this we can calculate tr rise time is equal to pi minus theta divided by omega d, where we already know omega d is pi minus theta is cos inverse zeta. So pi minus cos inverse zeta omega n under root 1 minus zeta square. So we can see the specifications depends upon the omega n and zeta. We have already also seen the delay time formula, that would the delay time also depending upon the omega n and zeta. Okay. So next is the peak time. Peak time Tp is the time taken by the response to reach its peak value. At peak, the time derivative of the response is 0, as we know for calculating any peak value. So dy by dt should be equal to 0 at Tp. So dy would be dy dt. What would be equal to dy dt? We already know yt is equal to 1 minus e to the power minus zeta omega nt upon under root 1 minus zeta square sin omega n omega nt plus theta, omega n dt plus theta. Okay, so this is the value of yt, 1 minus zeta e to the power zeta omega nt upon 1 minus zeta square sin omega n dt plus theta, where theta is cos inverse zeta. So when we take the derivative, differentiate with respect to 1, we get dy by dt is equal to, this term would become 0 and this would be zeta omega n e to the power minus zeta omega n Tp. Okay, so this term omega minus zeta omega n, and this minus would become plus. So zeta omega n e to the power minus zeta omega n Tp upon 1 minus zeta square sin omega d Tp plus theta. And similarly we take the do the differentiation for the second term, first term and second term. So sin theta, the differentiation of sin theta is cos theta, and this omega d at time would become Tp. So if we solve this, we get zeta sin omega d Tp plus theta minus under root 1 minus zeta square cos omega d Tp plus theta is equal to 0. So if we already know this is sin omega d Tp plus theta cos theta, as zeta is equal to cos theta. So we have kept the value of zeta, and under root 1 minus zeta square is sin theta. So we have put this value, and this formula would become the sin c plus d. So we have sin omega d Tp, so sin c minus d, this is t. So this formula is of sin omega d Tp plus theta minus theta. So theta would get cancelled, so it would be remaining sin omega d Tp, which is equal to 0. So from here omega d Tp would be equal to 0 pi 2 pi. The values sin theta would be 0 at value of 0 pi and 2 pi. So for first peak, this would be equal to pi. Okay, so Tp would be equal to pi upon omega d, which is equal to omega n t 1 minus zeta square, and for first undershoot t this would be equal to 2 pi. So for this particular diagram, so if we see this, for this particular diagram, the theta is pi, and for this it is 2 pi, for this peak it is 3 pi, for this undershoot it is 4 pi. So if we want to calculate, see this is for peak time, this is for first undershoot, this is for second peak, this is for second undershoot, and similarly for the next value. So in this way we can calculate the time for all the shoots, overshoot or undershoot in the So next is peak overshoot, that is MP. As per the definition, peak overshoot of a system response is equal to yTP, the value of y at peak time minus 1 when it is at infinity, divided by 1. So it is equal to yTP minus 1. So we put the value of TP in the y and calculate the value of y. So we have 1 minus e to the power minus zeta omega and TP under root 1 minus zeta square sin omega d TP plus theta, which is equal to e to the minus, as 1 would get cancelled. So we have minus e to the power minus zeta omega and pi upon omega d. We kept the value of TP, 1 minus zeta square sin omega d pi omega by omega d theta. So omega d would get cancelled and sin pi plus theta is minus sin theta. So this would become sin theta e to the power minus under root 1 zeta pi upon under root 1 minus zeta square under root 1 minus zeta square, as under root 1 minus zeta square is sin theta. So this would get cancelled by each other. So what would be left? MP is equal to 100 if it is called in percentage, and if it is called in units, you can simply skip it. So e to the power minus e to the zeta pi upon under root 1 minus zeta square percentage. So this is the first peak corresponding to first peak. If we want to calculate the second peak, we can keep the value omega and TP as 3 pi by omega d, and if we want to calculate the first undershoot, we can keep the value as TP as 2 pi. Okay. So expression for settling time, as we have already told you in the previous slide, we have two tolerance band, 2% and 5%, and the response settling time is the time required to response to reach a stay within a specified tolerance band. So here Ts is equal to, for 2% tolerance band, 4R. R is the time constant, which is equal to 4 upon zeta omega n, and for 5% tolerance band it is equal to 3R, where R is again a time constant and 3 upon zeta omega n. Settling time is inversely proportional to damping ratio. As zeta increases, settling time decreases. So these are the specifications for the time response analysis of second order system. So what are the applications of damped system? So over damped system are used in push button water tap shut off valves, where water is suddenly reached to the highest value. Automatic door closer can be critically damped also. This automatic door closer can be over damped and critically damped also. Critically damped systems are used in elevator mechanism and gun mechanism. Underdamped systems are used in all string insulators. Bells are underdamped to make sound appealing. Analog electrical or mechanical measuring instruments, these underdamped system can be used in these applications. So now we have seen what are the specifications for the system design. Next we will see about the steady state error. As the system, when we design a system, the steady state error should be 0, but ideally practically it is not 0, there is some error. So by these calculations we can calculate how the system responds for different types of inputs and what will be the error. So this is it is the error between the actual output and desired input as t tends to infinity. So ESS, it is the steady state error, which is equal to t tends to infinity ET, or limit t tends to infinity RT, which is input, minus YT, which is output. Okay, time response of output by final value theorem. So if we use the final value theorem, ESS is equal to limit t tends to infinity ET. By using final value theorem, it would become limit s tends to infinity ES. So we can simply, by this we have to calculate YT and RT, and then we take the difference and then we calculate the ET. But using this particular final value theorem, we can simply calculate the ES from this block diagram in terms of Laplace transform, and then by using final value theorem, we can simply, without calculating any YT and RT, we can calculate the steady state error system without any input. We do not need any kind of input what we have. So by this block diagram, we have, this is RS and this is coming as YS. Okay, so this is HS, this is 1, so this is HS YS, which is equal to YS only. So ES is equal to R minus Y, ES is equal to RS minus YS. So we have YS is G upon 1 plus GSHS. We already know YS is equal to g upon 1 plus gh r. Okay, so from this we have y is equal to gr upon 1 plus g as h is equal to 1. So if we simplify this, we get E is equal to r upon 1 plus g. So we have E is equal to r upon 1 plus g. So this is the transfer function for error. So if steady state error, if we use the final value theorem, ESS would be equal to limit s tends to 0 ES or limit s tends to 0 SRS upon 1 plus GS. So for different inputs, let's see what would be the error, steady state error of the system. So let's say for first one is unit step input when RS is equal to 1 by S. So if we put the value of RS as 1 by S in this equation, we get limit S tends to 0, RS we have kept as 1 by S, so S would get cancelled by S. So we get limit S tends to 0, 1 upon 1 plus GSHS. So this is constant, so we can simply using the mathematical equations algebra, we can keep it as 1 upon 1 plus Kp, where Kp is limit S tends to 0 GS, and it is called the position error constant. It is called the position error constant. And second, for ramp input, or it is the velocity error constant is also called. So for ramp input, RS is equal to 1 by S square. So if we put this value in the equation, ESS is equal to limit S tends to 0 SRS upon 1 plus GS, we keep the value 1 by S square. So at this was SRS. Okay, so if RS is 1 by S square, so it is S by S square, S would get cancelled by S, so this we will have only single S. So if you multiply this, so what we have done, so we have ESS is equal to limit S tends to 0 SRS upon 1 plus GS. Okay, so we kept the value of RS as 1 by S square, so S into 1 by S square upon 1 plus GS. So we can simply write it as S get cancelled, 1 upon S plus SGS. So we have limit S tends to 0, limit S tends to 0, 1 upon S plus SGS. If we use this again, the algebraic algebra, simple algebra, we get limit S tends to 0, this would get bigger, this would become 0. So we will have only 1 upon SGS. So which is can be written as Kv, which is called the velocity error constant. Kv is limit S tends to 0 as GS, and it is called the velocity error constant. Now velocity error constant is not error in the velocity, but it is the error in position due to ramp input. Next is the parabolic. For parabolic input, it is or called the acceleration. So here Rs is equal to the Laplace transform of parabolic input is 1 by S cube. So we have again ESS would be equal to, if we keep put the value of Rs, we limit S tends to 0 S square 1 upon S square plus S square GS. If we use again the simple algebra, we get a limit S tends to 0 1 upon S square GS, which is equal to 1 upon Ka, where Ka is the limit S tends to 0 S square GS is called the acceleration error constant. The error constants Kp, Kv and Ka describe the ability of a system to reduce or eliminate steady state error. Okay. So these values mostly depend on the type of a system, which type of system we are using, and as the type of the system becomes higher, more steady state error would be observed or would be eliminated. So features of a steady state error, what are the features of the steady state error? Steady state error is a measure of system accuracy. How accurate is the system? This is can be obtained by the steady state error. So steady state error should be as close to 0 as possible. In an ideal scenario, the system should match the reference input as the time progress. So steady state, that means if we are giving a step input, the output should also be it should also match with the step input. If we are giving the ramp input, it should also match with the output should also match with the ramp input. So finally we should get a steady state error as 0, but practically there may be some error, so it should be minimized. It means the steady state error should be as low as possible, and hence it is important for performance measures. Steady state errors depend on two factors. First one is the type of the reference input, that is the input system, whether it is step, ramp or parabolic. And the second factor is the type of the system. The steady state error are calculated only for closed loop stable system. Okay, so these steady state error are not calculated for unstable system, as unstable system have infinite errors. So for these are calculated for closed loop stable systems only. So type of system, how do you calculate the type of system? It can be the maximum power of poles at origin. So consider the following pole 0 form of open loop transfer function. We have a generalized form where this is gain k, s plus z1, s plus z2, factorized form in zeros, and again the s to the power n, s plus p1, s plus p2 up to s plus c1. So the term s to the power n in the denominator denotes the number of the poles at origin. So this shows that n numbers of poles are at origin and other poles are not at origin, not origin. So system with n poles at origin is called type n system. So how many poles are at origin? This is called the system of this type of the system. So if n is equal to 0, if n is equal to 0, the type of the system is 0. For n is equal to 1, type 0 system. For n is equal to 1, this is called type 1 system. For n is equal to 2, this is called type 2 system, and so on. So n also indicates the number of indicators in the system 1 by s. As s tends to 0, s to the power n dominates in the determining the steady state error. So steady state error for different type of systems. So for type 0 system, or when n is equal to 0, so we have the generalized transfer function gs is equal to k s plus z1, s plus z2 upon s plus p1, s plus p2. So if we use the position for different inputs, step input, ramp input and parabolic input, we have different errors. For step input, ESS position, this is for step input, which is position ESS position, which is equal to limit s tends to 0, 1 upon 1 plus gs, which is equal to 1 upon 1 plus kp. For velocity, ESS is equal to limit s tends to 0, 1 upon gs. So 1 kp would be equal to k dash into z1 upon z2 into z2 up to this terms. Simply we can put that s to the s value of 0. So we will get, for limit kp is equal to limit s tends to 0 gs. So this is equal to limit s tends to 0 k dash s plus z1, s plus z2 upon s plus p1, s plus p2. So we would have k dash into z1 into z2 upon p1 into p2. So we have some finite value of kp. So here the position error constant error value will be equal to 1 upon 1 plus kp. For velocity error constant, limit VSS is equal to limit s tends to 0, 1 upon s gs. So if we put limit kv is equal to limit s tends to 0 s gs. So if we keep the value of this there will be s, so this will will always be s, this would become 0. So if kv becomes 0, the error would become infinite. For acceleration, ESS would be equal to limit s tends to 0, 1 upon s square gs. Again the k would also become 0 as there is s square in gs. So this would become infinity. So for type 0 system, ramp and parabolic systems are not suitable, as the steady state error would become infinity and system may become unstable. And so for type 0 system, only step input can be applied, where we will get a constant error, constant position error, infinite velocity and acceleration errors at steady state. So for type 1 system, we have for type 1 system n is equal to 1. So we have the generalized form k dash s plus z1, s plus z2 upon s into s plus p1, s plus p2, and then again we calculate different error constants. ESS at position, or for ramp for step input, limit s tends to 0, 1 upon gs, 1 plus gs. So the kp becomes 0 when we put limit s tends to 0. So this becomes 0 and this becomes infinite. So if kp becomes infinite, so the error becomes 0. And for ramp input, with velocity error constant SGS, this S would get cancelled, so we will have a constant velocity error constant, finite velocity error constant, so we will have a finite error with ramp input. For acceleration, so for parabolic input we would have limit s tends to 0 s square gs. So this would, for because of this power, one power get cancelled, but one of s would be there. So we will get infinite power, infinite error. So for type 1, particular type 1 system, for step input we will get 0 steady state error, for ramp input we will get finite steady state error, and for parabolic input we will get infinite steady state error. For type 2 system, when n is equal to 2, this is the particular transfer function. So again, for different inputs, step, ramp and parabolic, so we will get again the infinite, kp becomes infinite, so the error becomes 0, and kv would also become infinite because here we have s square, here we have single s, so this would also become 0. And for acceleration or parabolic input, we would have a finite value of Ka, so finite value of steady state error. So for type 2 system, when we apply step input or ramp input, we will get a 0 steady state error, and when we apply parabolic input, we get a finite steady state error. So this is it for steady state error. Thank you so much. In the next lecture, we will be studying about the stability analysis of a system. Thank you.